An Instagram user has been documenting what he calls experiments with the entity that supposedly lives in his basement. At first, people thought he was just making skits, but the footage keeps getting harder to explain. In one video, the sound of slow, deliberate footsteps can be heard making their way halfway up the basement stairs.
This Instagram user posted experiments they have been doing with the paranormal entity in their basement. There are footsteps, then the balloon is hit by an unseen force. In a second video, more footsteps are followed by the owner's hand being slapped. Finally, he tries one more experiment. Watch what happens.
Moments later, a blue balloon begins bouncing by itself in the air, not rolling or drifting, but bouncing, as though someone unseen was hitting it upward from below. A few days later, he recorded again after hearing the same footsteps. This time they climbed all the way to the top and stopped right in front of him. The camera captures his arm jerking back twice as two clear slaps echo through the basement, even though nobody visible was there. The final clip is the most unsettling. He holds a roll of toilet paper at the top of the stairs, indirectly daring the spirit in the basement to do something about it. The footsteps start again, slow and heavy, and then the roll begins to unravel itself slightly, but not to an extent that was too crazy. Viewers called it one of the clearest pieces of interaction footage they'd ever seen. It was concrete evidence that whatever's in that basement isn't just moving objects, it's responding. A little girl was sitting on the floor, playing with some of her toys, when she suddenly started talking to someone who wasn't there. At first, upon checking the camera, her parents thought she was just pretending, the way most kids do. But as she kept going, it became unsettling. She could be heard greeting someone and using a name her parents recognized instantly, Grandma Eckersley, a family member who had passed away, and they were still deeply upset by her passing. She spoke with warmth and familiarity, describing her as an angel and telling her about her toys, as though carrying on a genuine conversation. What made it all the more chilling was how naturally she spoke, because it was very clear that this wasn't just the result of a wild imagination. The parents watched the footage in silence, torn between fear and disbelief. Many online have said that young children are more receptive to things adults can't see, and if that's true, this little girl might have been speaking to someone who never really left. Built back in 1887, the house Noah lived in carried a long and eerie history. Locals say the spirits of the original homeowners never left, and after 3 years inside those walls, Noah had no doubt about it. The knocks always came at night, steady and deliberate, like someone on the other side of the door refusing to leave.
Jesus loves me, yes I know.
Built in 1887, this home was haunted by the original homeowners, Judson Hood and his wife Mary Pogue. I lived here for 3 years and just released my 10-part series explaining the history of the home and how it eventually burnt down.
Mary. Mary girl. Ooh, I'm covered in goosebumps. Mary, I know you just died 106 years ago, bitch. Give it up, Mary. Cut it out. Come on, Mary, for real. You done said your piece 106 times. Die. Go to the grave. This shit's creepy. I'll give it to you since it's your death dates or whatever. Happy 106th day in heaven. I hope you're in heaven.
I called 911.
Jesus loves me, yes I know, for the Bible. Come on, girl. What do you want? Normally you shut up when I come down here. I'm gonna try to run past it. Hey, Mary. Mary, can you stop? Mary! Stop. Creepy ass painting. I am not cut out for this shit, y'all. My motherfucking rosary.
This time, Noah decided to speak directly to whatever was there, asking it to stop, but the knocking only grew louder and faster, like it was angry. His voice shakes slightly as he warns it again, telling the presence to go away, to rest, but it doesn't stop. The sound keeps echoing through the hallway until he tells the spirit behind it to return to the grave where it came from. The moment the words leave his mouth, the video cuts out completely. The knocking didn't stop that night. A few days later, Noah posted another video. This time, the knocks had returned, louder than ever. The camera shows him halfway down the stairs, his voice tired and frustrated as he films the front door closely.
If you could just please stop. I'm trying to sleep. This is the third time you got me up. I'm here, so come on, what do you need? What are you trying to...
As soon as he stops to catch his breath, the knocking stops too. Like whatever's there is listening to him. He stands still for a few seconds, trying to process it, then speaks again, this time softer, asking the ghost to please stop because he's just trying to sleep. For a moment, there's silence. No movement, no sound, just the hum of the house in the middle of the night. Then suddenly, a scary demon jumped out, except it was actually an edit he added later of himself as a joke, something to break the tension up. But even with that small edit, viewers pointed out how real his fear seemed, how cautious he was walking down those stairs. A few nights later, Noah uploaded yet another video, saying he hadn't been sleeping properly since the last incident. The knocking had changed this time, and was not coming from the door anymore, but from the walls themselves.
Shh. Can y'all please just walk me down, please?
Hello? If you can hear me, please stop. Why are you going faster?
Oh, fuck no.
The recording starts with him getting out of bed in frustration, the camera shaking as the loud thuds echo through the house. He walks to the same midpoint of the stairs where it always seems to happen, calling out, "Hello," and demanding the ghost to stop. For a brief moment, the sounds pause, the house falling completely silent. Then, just as he begins to back away, the knocking resumes, except faster, sharper, almost rhythmic, like it's responding directly to him. His breathing quickens, the tension building as he stays frozen on the stairs. Eventually, it stops just as suddenly as it started, leaving an eerie quiet behind. Noah whispers to himself and slowly retreats back up the steps, clearly terrified to even look back. Whatever is haunting that house isn't finished with him yet. The video begins with the sound of heavy breathing, the man clearly unsettled as he films a see-through section of his wall to capture something very peculiar. As the camera pans toward the kitchen window, a small child can be seen standing perfectly still on the other side, its outline clear against the dim light. For a few tense seconds, neither of them moves. Then, when he finally gathers the courage to turn the corner and check, there's nobody there. No child, no sound, just the faint creaking of the house settling. He steps farther into the room, scanning around with his camera, and that's when a cupboard door suddenly shuts on its own, slamming with force. A whisper follows right after, barely audible, but enough to make him flinch and drop a curse under his breath. The clip cuts abruptly after that, leaving viewers questioning who, or what, that child in the window really was. Zark uploaded what he called the scariest night his family had ever experienced. The video starts with him, his wife, and their young son lying in bed, the woman trying to comfort the child, while Zark decides to get up and see what's going on.
मैं भी हूँ
नहीं, तुम बच्चे के साथ रहो, नहीं तो वो डरेगा.
Daddy, can I go?
No, Mama. You take care of Mommy. Daddy will come soon. पूरा सामान गिरा हुआ है. Yeah. इधर भी पूरा कवर गिरा हुआ है.
He walks slowly toward the door, opens it carefully, and peers into the hallway where nothing is there. The house is silent except for the faint hum of appliances, but as he moves into the kitchen, things start to make sense, and not in a good way. Items are scattered across the floor. A cupboard is wide open, and his son's small bike has toppled over near the counter. Even a wall cover that had been perfectly secured earlier is now lying on the ground. Zark lifts it back up, presses it against the wall, and right as he does, the footage glitches. The image blurs, and the power cuts off. A moment later, the video transitions to CCTV footage he recorded earlier that night. The camera shows the cupboard door opening by itself, objects falling out one by one, the bike tipping over without anyone nearby, and finally the cover slipping down the wall on its own. Everything happens in complete silence. No people, no movement other than the objects themselves. Zark has no explanation for any of it EL, and neither do experts. All we know is that whatever's in that house made itself known to all of them that night. Dashcam footage dated July the 18th, 2021 at exactly 10 o'clock at night shows what might be one of the eeriest captures ever taken on a highway. The car is driving steadily down a dimly lit stretch of road, the lights from oncoming vehicles occasionally flashing across the windshield. For the first few seconds, everything looks perfectly normal. It's quiet, calm, and uneventful, but as the vehicle approaches a bend, something faint and human-shaped can be seen running along the side of the highway. Its outline is translucent, almost glowing against the darkness, moving at an unnatural speed, yet leaving no shadow, no sound, no trace on the road itself. The driver doesn't seem to notice, continuing straight ahead, while the figure gradually fades from view. When the footage was reviewed later, people were stunned by how clear the form appeared and how it seemed to match the movements of a real person, except for the fact that you could see right through it. Many now believe it wasn't a trick of light or reflection, but the ghost of someone still running that road, long after their time. CCTV footage inside a quiet home recently captured something strange that left both the owners and viewers online disturbed. It starts off innocently enough, with the family dog wandering out of a room in the middle of the day. Just as the dog passes through the doorway, the gate-style doors begin to close on their own, slowly narrowing the frame. Nobody else is seen in the footage, no drafts are evident, and the dog immediately stops in its tracks, as if it senses something unnatural. The odd behavior of the animal paired with the unexplained movement of the gate left many unsettled. What makes this clip even stranger is that the owners claim this wasn't the first time their dog had acted unusual near that exact doorway. They said he often barked at it late at night or refused to cross it unless coaxed, something they had previously chalked up to pet anxiety. But after reviewing this footage, they aren't so sure anymore. Some viewers suggested the dog was reacting to a presence unseen by humans, while others speculated it could be tied to the home's history. Either way, the uneasy reaction of the dog makes the unexplained movement of the doors feel less like a coincidence and more like a sign of something lurking in the house. CCTV footage from the same home continued to raise alarm only a few nights later. This time, the family's dog was resting inside its cage, which was considered its safe spot where it usually felt most comfortable.
Hey, just want to hop on here and explain some things about the ghost and my dog. So my dog is crate trained from his previous owner. That's his safe spot. That's where he goes when it's chaos in the house with all the children, or we have company that he doesn't like. He just goes in there and chills. So that's why he sleeps in his crate. It's his safe spot. Anyway, so what you didn't see in this video is after these slight movements of the door handle, he gets up, he's wagging his tail, he is ready to go. He only starts whimpering when it doesn't open for him. So I come out, make him go potty, and you would not know anything was wrong with him. He is ready to go back in that crate. He fell asleep. I checked the camera. That night, there have been a few other things happening in the house. If you look at my older videos, and he is super chill in like the door video. And as far as the kitchen video, we have had so many things get pushed off of that countertop, and he gobbles it up. He gobbles it up. He is there waiting for it to fall. And so I think him and the ghost are like BFFs for life, or afterlife. Just had to put that dad joke in there. Sorry. Anyway, he's fine.
At first, everything appeared normal until the handle of the cage suddenly twitched, making the dog sit up straight and fix its gaze on the movement. For a moment, nothing else happened, but then the handle shifted again, this time pushing itself back down. The dog stayed frozen, ears perked and body tense, clearly aware something wasn't right. As the clip goes on, the crate door handle keeps moving in small but deliberate motions, as if someone unseen were tampering with it. Many viewers began speculating that this could be tied to a past owner, possibly one who had passed away, returning in some unsettling way to interact with the animal. Claymore had grown used to the uneasy feeling of being alone in his house late at night, but the basement always carried a different kind of weight. It was a place he avoided unless necessary, filled with old boxes, pipes, and shadows that seemed to stretch longer than they should. At 4:53 in the morning, he found himself wide awake when the sound of heavy knocks echoed from the basement door. This wasn't the first time he'd heard it, but on this particular night, he decided to capture the proof.
Alright, so that right there is my basement door, right? I'm downstairs by myself. It's like 4:53 in the morning, and I just started hearing that. I have no idea what it is, but I'm down here by myself. Everybody's sleeping, just me. Ain't the first time I heard this shit either.
As he held his camera, the banging grew more distinct, and it was very hard to miss. What made it worse was his certainty that nobody else was in the house. Claymore admitted later into the clip that the sounds had happened before, often in the dead of night when silence made every echo worse. Whether it was coincidence, pipes, or something paranormal trying to reach out, he couldn't shake the dread of knowing the basement seemed to be alive with its own intentions. The next day, Claymore was working late at his PC when the familiar sound returned. The basement door began to knock again, steady and deliberate, pulling his attention away from the glow of his monitor. At first, he tried to ignore it, but the noise persisted until he finally stood, grabbing his camera as proof.
Alright, you guys are in luck. You wanted it, right? There it is. Ain't me knocking on shit. Ain't nobody down here, right? You Now, you guys are gonna say, oh, it's somebody in there, it's an animal. Nope. Let's go. So who's down here? Nobody. Nobody down here? Nobody downstairs? I don't want to hear none of that bullshit about, oh, it's somebody. Ain't f***ing. We hear that shit every single night.
He walked slowly toward the door, his steps hesitant. With one hand, he pulled it open, flicked on the light, and revealed the stairs leading to the basement. Heart pounding, he began his descent, his camera catching every creak of the steps as he scanned the space below. The basement was silent. Nothing out of place, no sign of movement or presence. After pacing around and confirming nobody was hiding, he turned back and walked up the stairs, shutting the door behind him. The unease lingered, though, and the sense that something had wanted him down there, but disappeared the moment he arrived. After this, he thought the ordeal was over, but only a short while later, the noises returned. This time, the sound wasn't coming from the basement door, but from the bathroom wall. It started as faint thuds and quickly turned into aggressive knocking that seemed to echo through the small space.
Alright, so I was hearing that knocking again, right? Except this time it's coming from that wall right there, which is my downstairs bathroom. And after a while I started hearing tapping on the bathroom door as well. So, what else? Record. See if anything else happens. I mean, I hear the shit every night. It's okay, that's never happened before. Now I have to go check it out, otherwise you guys are gonna be like, oh, it's probably somebody in there. Let's go see. I'll show you guys right now. Ain't nobody in this mother. And it is empty. Yeah, no, that one was weird. That's never actually happened before. That's new, at least.
He turned his camera toward the bathroom, and through the small crack of the door, the light inside could be seen flicking on and off, almost as if someone was toying with the switch from within. Gathering what courage he had left, he got up, pushed the door open, and stepped inside with the camera. The bathroom was completely empty. Nothing out of place, no reason for the sounds or the lights to behave that way. Shaken to his core, he's now seriously considering moving out, knowing his sense of safety has been completely taken from the home. Patrick had always hated going into his basement, but one night curiosity got the better of him. He unlocked the basement door, shut it firmly behind him, and started recording as he walked into the strange, unfinished space. The concrete walls and dim lighting gave it the unsettling look of something straight out of the back rooms, stretching into a narrow corridor that seemed far too long for a house basement. As he made his way down, the camera caught a shadow suddenly dashing across behind the corner at the very end of the hallway. His breathing quickened as he crept forward, determined to see what it was. But when he turned the corner, there was nothing there, just more empty walls and silence pressing in around him. The clip ends before anything else happens, but Patrick later explained that seconds after cutting the camera, fear overtook him and he bolted up the stairs, convinced that something was following close behind. A family had been searching tirelessly for their missing cat, putting up flyers, calling shelters, and setting up trail cameras around their property in the hopes of spotting it. Most nights the cameras picked up nothing unusual, just wind moving through the grass or the occasional animal passing by. But one evening, while the parents were working in the garage, one of the trail cams triggered, and what it captured left them speechless. The footage showed a strange white apparition suddenly appearing at the edge of the frame. At first glance, it looked like a mist, but when paused, the outline was far too defined. It resembled the shape of a human, faint and pale. The clip cut off just as the figure fully entered the shot, giving viewers no chance to see what might have happened next. The family was shaken, insisting that no one else was outside at the time. Their cat never returned, and with no explanation for the ghostly image, they've been left wondering if its disappearance is connected to something far more unsettling. At first, it seemed like a normal workday for the man, clocking into his shift and heading toward the lockers in the back room. Nothing out of the ordinary had happened all morning, and he wasn't expecting anything either. But while walking past the row of metal lockers, one of them slowly creaked open all by itself.
¿Por qué haces esto? ¿En qué puedo ayudarte? ¿Qué necesitas? Dime, ¿necesitas algo? ¿En qué puedo ayudarte? Pero no me hagas esto. ¿En qué puedo ayudarte?
He sat down and stayed there in disbelief for a moment, then nervously asked out loud how he could help and what the ghost needed from him. Almost as if in direct response, the locker door slowly shut again, this time leaving a slight crack, as though inviting him to keep engaging. Unsure, he asked again, wanting to see if it was truly connected to something paranormal. That's when the door suddenly swung open again, only to slam shut with far more force than before. His shock was obvious, and though he didn't run, he quickly backed away from the row of lockers. Later, he told his manager everything, showing the footage as proof. His manager has since confirmed they are waiting on an official investigation into what exactly is happening back there, leaving everyone at the workplace on edge. Ragalzu had always carried a strange fear of the school he once attended. Even as a child, he felt that something darker than old brick walls and dusty hallways lingered within. The stories passed around about eerie noises, shadows, and even students claiming to have seen figures only deepened his suspicion. Now, years later, he decided to return with a camera in hand, determined to prove that the feelings.
Y aquí en la escuela cuando empiezan a ladrar los perros así a llorar. Ah, visto. Ahí empieza a joder, como a golpear. Todas las noches hace lo mismo. ¿Qué pasa? Tempranito empiezan a hinchar las pelotas.
As he stayed stationary, staring at the deserted corridor ahead, the silence was broken by dogs howling outside, their cries echoing unnaturally through the building. It set him on edge, and almost immediately after, the door ahead began to rattle violently. The shaking grew louder and more aggressive until, without warning, the door flung itself wide open. Ragalzu cautiously stepped forward and found only a bathroom beyond, empty and still. The fear set in heavy at that moment, and he admitted later that he felt something unseen had been watching him. The thought that a spirit might follow him home became overwhelming, and from that day on, he vowed never to step foot in that school again. Crisella Luna is well known for taking her audience into places most people wouldn't dare to go, and this time she set her sights on the infamous Hotel Posada del Sol in Mexico City. Locals warn against entering, especially at night, claiming the energy inside is too heavy to handle. In her own words, even retrieving the footage was difficult, as though the hotel itself resisted letting it be shared. She pushed forward anyway, determined to show her viewers what she found.
Ay, no. De verdad me siento perdida. Escucha. Por acá. Vamos a ver qué hay. Está escuchando. Ay, ¿dónde estás?
At 9 minutes and 47 seconds into the recording, while exploring one of the endless, decaying hallways, Criselle suddenly caught sight of what looked like a shadowy figure standing at the far end. Just before this, an odd, unsettling noise echoed through the corridor, sending chills down her spine. The moment her eyes locked on the figure, she spun around and bolted, her fear captured raw on camera. She later admitted that this was one of the strongest encounters she had ever experienced, and for many viewers, it cemented Hotel Posada del Sol's reputation as one of the most terrifying places she had ever visited. Subscribe so you don't miss her next appearance in my videos. Ranim was out walking her dog in a massive national park, enjoying the peace and quiet of being surrounded by nothing but nature. The paths were empty, and she hadn't seen another soul the entire time. At one point, to break the silence, she even joked to herself, "Imagine someone started chasing me." That's when things took a terrifying turn.
Somebody's chasing me down.
She turned her camera behind her, and in the distance, a tall, black, Slenderman-like figure stood clearly in view. Her voice shook as she said something was chasing her, the fear evident as she kept glancing back while trying to stay calm for her dog. The figure lingered unnervingly far down the trail, but it was enough to make her heart race. Luckily, Ranim managed to finish the walk safely, but the footage left everyone unsettled, wondering what exactly it was she had seen out there in the isolation of the park. A quiet night was broken by the sound of a baby crying, waking the father from his half-asleep daze. At first, he thought it was nothing unusual. Maybe his child just got a bit upset in the crib. But something about the sound felt different, off, almost like it was coming from somewhere else entirely. Worried, he got up and glanced out the upstairs window to see if anything outside could be causing the disturbance. Nothing stood out, but the uneasy feeling only grew. Determined to be sure, he made his way downstairs.
Son las 3 de la mañana. Se están escuchando sonidos en la parte trasera. Oye, Ceci, hay algo allá abajo, ¿eh? Hay algo allá abajo. Sí. No, voy a ver. Está en el patio, güey. Déjame, voy a checar. No mames.
As he reached the living room, a pink rolling baby toy suddenly moved across the floor completely on its own. There was no one else there. No draft, no strings, just the toy gliding as though something invisible had pushed it. His breathing grew heavier as he turned toward the downstairs window, hoping for some rational explanation. Instead, he froze. Just outside in the garage, the curtains revealed a human-like head that could be seen peeking from behind the corner, its movements slow and deliberate, turning as if it knew it was being watched. It was far too uncanny to be human, as the proportions and the way it shifted were all wrong. The father quickly backed away from the glass, shaken and terrified, realizing that whatever had come near his home that night was nothing he could explain. Matty was stuck at home alone while his family vacationed in Cancun, staying behind because of his university schedule. He tried to distract himself by playing Call of Duty late into the night, but the calm was shattered when he noticed his bedroom door slowly opening on its own. At first, he brushed it off, but a chill in the air made him pull out his phone to start recording, just in case.
Bro, I'm playing COD, and look at this door. You cannot make this shit up. Look at this. Bro, nobody is home. My family is in Cancun, bro. You gotta be kidding me. Bro. What the Bentley? Bro, are you kidding me right now? Are you kidding me right now? What the Bro. Holy. Why is this door open? What the is going on?
The door creaked shut again without anyone touching it. Nervous, he rushed over and pulled it back open, only to hear the toilet flushing itself in the bathroom. His heart raced as he bolted to the landing, where the downstairs lights began flashing on and off in eerie rhythm. Gathering courage, he descended the stairs and walked into the kitchen, only to see the tap running full force without anyone near it. Shaken, he turned to leave the room, but froze when he spotted something even stranger. A door he swore had been shut earlier, now wide open, revealing only darkness behind it. Panic overtook him, and he ran out of the house barefoot, leaving everything behind. Later, he admitted he drove aimlessly for hours just to get as far away as possible, and even considered sleeping in his car rather than return that night. For Matty, what started as a quiet evening alone became the most terrifying experience of his life. Paranormal Tours is a very small ghost hunting channel, but despite the limited following, the passion for chasing the unknown is undeniable. In one of their most recent explorations, the host decided to investigate an abandoned school that locals had long whispered about. The building was falling apart, the kind of place where every creak of the floorboards and every gust of wind through the windows puts you on edge. Still, he pressed on, determined to capture something his audience would never forget. While walking down one of the shadowy halls, he suddenly heard a noise behind a door. Startled but pushing forward, he kicked the door open, expecting to find an animal or maybe just loose debris. What he saw, however, he immediately described as disturbing. Though the camera didn't quite pick it up, his reaction said it all. Moments later, he spun around and screamed, his lens catching something far clearer this time, a face appearing in a crack in the broken door. Not once, but twice. Gathering what courage he had left, he moved to check the other side, but when he got there, there was nothing waiting for him. He admitted in the upload that the experience rattled him badly, but he hinted this was only the beginning. Paranormal Tours promised that in future videos, more of the activity from that school would be revealed. Late one night, a man was sitting in his room when sudden aggressive knocking echoed from his front door. At first, he froze, wondering who could be at his house so late, but when he worked up the courage to check, things only got stranger. He walked carefully around the house, filming as he went, but every time he checked the doorways, there was absolutely nothing. No visitor, no sign of anyone lurking nearby. Instead, random bangs echoed from different corners of the house, sharp and startling enough to make him flinch each time. A few items had toppled over on their own, including a bin lying sideways on the floor, but there was no explanation for how they'd fallen. His fear escalated until he couldn't take it anymore. Panicked, he sprinted back to his bedroom and slammed the door behind him, locking it shut, breathing heavily as the noise outside continued in the dark. Later that night, just when he thought things had finally settled down, the terror picked up again. As he sat in his room trying to calm himself, the door handle suddenly began rattling aggressively, shaking back and forth for what felt like forever. Around 25 seconds straight, he sat frozen, staring at it, heart pounding in his chest, before finally working up the courage to unlock the door and open it once the rattling stopped. The hallway outside was dark and empty, but briefly after he stepped out, the knocking started again from further down the house, louder this time, echoing through the silence. Overwhelmed, he sprinted back into his room, slammed the door shut, and immediately got on a call with a ghost hunter, desperate for help with what he was going through. Mike has always been the kind of person who notices the little things, small movements, changes in sound, anything slightly out of place. Lately though, those little things in his home have been happening far too often for comfort. He says it started with odd sounds at night, but recently the activity has been bold enough to catch in daylight. That's when he decided to start filming, just to have proof of what he was seeing. The footage starts in his dining room, where a wooden chair at the table slides itself just a few inches across the floor. In the second part, the camera is in the kitchen, capturing one of the drawers pulling open slowly and deliberately, as though someone was standing right there. Finally, the third clip shows a wall sticker in his living room peeling away from the surface on its own, curling toward the floor with no one touching it. Mike says all three moments happened within days of each other, and while none of them were violent, the fact that they keep escalating has him wondering just how far this is going to go. Mateo works nights as a security guard at a large hospital, a job that's usually more about patience than action. Most shifts are long stretches of quiet hallways, the occasional patient wandering in confusion, and the hum of fluorescent lights. But he says that over the past few weeks, strange things have been happening, such as unexplained noises, flickering lights, and shadows where there shouldn't be any. That's when he decided to start filming during his rounds, just in case.
Se oye una voz rara aquí como... Ush. Son las domingo. No hay nadie. La silla se mueve sola. Se apagaron las luces cuando entré. No hay nadie en el baño.
The footage begins in one of the hospital's empty corridors. A chair sitting against the wall suddenly slides a long distance across the floor, scraping as it moves. Just a second later, something faint and humanoid appears to shift around the corner at the far end of the hall. Mateo immediately rushes over, the camera shaking as he turns the corner, only to find absolutely nothing there. No footsteps, no movement, no sign that anyone had been in the area at all. He says the hospital's night staff have whispered about hauntings for years, but after that encounter, Mateo admits he's starting to believe them. Let's just hope if this place is haunted, the spirit leaves soon. Sarah had just finished putting her daughter to bed and was settling down to watch some TV in the living room. It was a quiet night, the kind where everything feels normal and peaceful. But then, out of nowhere, she heard a familiar sound coming from her daughter's room, a toy starting to play music on its own. Confused and a little uneasy, she grabbed her phone and decided to film what was happening.
If you scare easily, use your discernment, but this is the completely uncut and unfiltered clips that I took tonight after a couple of really weird things happened in my house. My daughter's been asleep for 2 hours. She's all the way over there. How is this standing up perfectly upright and turned on? She can't reach that. Hi, baby. And she's dead asleep when that thing just came on. There's no way.
Sarah cautiously enters the dimly lit room, pointing the camera toward the toy. It's sitting upright on the desk, far out of reach, and playing music by itself. Sarah quickly turns it off, her breath shaky, clearly unsettled by what she just witnessed. Afterwards, Sarah says she's reached out to paranormal experts, hoping they can help explain or put an end to the strange occurrences in her home. She's left wondering if this is just a harmless glitch or something far more unsettling. Around midnight, a family began receiving repeated notifications of movement detected by their security cameras. Concerned, the father immediately checked his phone to see what was causing the alerts. The footage shows a dark, demonic-looking head slowly peeking around a corner. The image is unsettling, and unlike anything they had seen before. Despite the chilling sight, the family remains unsure what to make of it. Some suggest it could be a strange light reflection or a trick of the camera lens, while others worry it might be something far more sinister. For now, the mystery remains unresolved, leaving them on edge and unsure what to expect next. Marco works as a security guard at a local mall and recently started noticing strange motion detections coming from the basement. His boss instructed him to go check it out and bring his camera along, just in case.
Dios. Esto sí que es extraño. Acabo de prender la cámara porque la silla que estaba junto a las otras empezó a moverse. Eran 4 sillas, pero una empezó a moverse. Está detrás de la columna, a tan solo unos metros. Pero puedo ver. Aquí está de nuevo moviéndose de nuevo. No puedo creerlo. Viene hacia mí. Creo que viene hacia mí. Viene hacia mí. Maldita silla. Maldita silla. Se está moviendo. Maldita silla. Maldita silla. Maldita silla. Maldita silla. Se está moviendo. Estoy atrás de la caja registradora. No puede ser. Creo que algo extraño sucede aquí. Como un extraño sucede. Otra vez la silla, maldita silla se está moviendo. Se está moviendo, maldita sea. Maldita sea. Maldita sea. Maldita sea. Esa maldita silla se está moviendo de nuevo. Parece que no se queda. Por Dios, esa maldita silla. Esa maldita silla. Creo que voy a llamar al 911. Tengo que llamar al 911.
Down in the dimly lit basement, Marco films as a red chair slowly slides across the floor, inching closer to him on its own. The movement is eerie and completely unexplained. After the clip, Marco admitted feeling shaken, but stayed professional. He's still unsure what caused the chair to move, and plans to report it to his supervisors while staying alert for anything else unusual. The whole experience left him questioning what might really be lurking in the basement. Macchio had recently moved into a new home, still unpacking boxes and adjusting to the unfamiliar surroundings. Despite the excitement of a fresh start, he kept noticing odd things such as small sounds, items slightly out of place, but nothing he could quite explain. One night, just as he was settling into bed, a persistent rustling noise from downstairs caught his attention. Curious and a bit uneasy, he decided to investigate.
Estamos aquí en la funeraria, otra vez. Con ruidos raros. Entonces, pues, está solo. Ahora sí. ¿Cuál pinche que se ve? Que nada. Estoy solo. Estoy solo, a la chingada. Estoy solo. A la chingada. A la chingada. A la vez. No mames, no mames, no mames. A la chingada.
As he filmed, several tall, pillar-like objects in the living room suddenly began to collapse one by one, falling with no visible cause or anyone near them. The way they toppled seemed deliberate, as if an unseen force was at work. Makio quickly realized this was no ordinary disturbance. This had all the hallmarks of a poltergeist. He shared the footage with his followers, explaining that while he hoped it was harmless, the activity was clearly escalating. Since then, he's been researching ways to handle such paranormal presence, considering everything from cleansing rituals to calling in experts. The experience left him cautious but determined to understand what exactly was happening in his new home. Ian, known for his solo explorations of abandoned places, ventured into the backstage area of a long-forgotten theater. The corridors were lined with dusty props and old equipment, remnants of a bygone era. He marveled at the intricate lifts and old beauty mirrors, capturing the eerie beauty of the decaying space. At first, everything seemed calm, the silence only broken by the creaks of the building settling. But then, something weird happened.
Backstage area. I hear that a former costume designer haunts this place. Could you give me a sign of your presence? Oh wow, look at that. That's the underneath of the stage. This looks like where actors would go through. They go through that door right there. And then this looks like some kind of lift or something. If there's anybody over here, could you make a noise for me? Oh my gosh, that scared me. That's just the motion light. Whew. Dang. Hello? Anyone back here? I thought I heard something up there. Hello? Let's go up there and find out what it was.
Faint noises echoed from upstairs, and it was super creepy, considering this was a solo mission. Ian's curiosity piqued, and he decided to investigate further. Subscribe to my channel to see the full clip of his upstairs adventure and to follow his ongoing investigations into the paranormal. A man was out shopping, carrying his dog safely in his arms as he moved through the aisles. Everything seemed normal at first, but then his dog suddenly started squirming, twisting and turning as if desperate to get down. The man was puzzled, but gently tried to calm the dog, thinking it might just be restless. After a few tense moments, the dog finally managed to slip from his hold and land on the floor. What happened next was truly bizarre and unsettling. The video shows something invisible bending the man's finger all the way back in a way that looked painful, but no one or nothing was visibly there to cause it. What makes this especially chilling is that ghost encounters rarely involve physical pain, so for something unseen to cause actual discomfort is frightening and very unusual. The man himself looked shocked and confused, clearly shaken by the experience, and viewers watching the clip have been left wondering what exactly could have caused this strange event in the middle of an otherwise normal shopping trip. Ashley had set up a camera in her bedroom after weeks of feeling uneasy at home, mostly just to reassure herself that nothing strange was really happening. It wasn't the middle of the night either. This took place around 6 p.m. while she was busy filming other content in another part of the house. Mid-recording, she began hearing noises upstairs. At first, she brushed it off, thinking it might just be her cat moving around, but when the sounds came again, her camera caught this.
Alright, so I'm regretting putting the camera up in this room. I know we did it so we could see if anything happened, but I didn't want to see anything. Okay? And my mom's coming this weekend, so she can't know about this. I was downstairs filming content, and I heard something upstairs, but I was like, it's just Coco. She's not down here. Coco's upstairs playing. All fine. But then I heard it again, and here's what we found. Here's what we caught on the camera. And I'm not okay. I'm either going to be moving this weekend, putting the house up for sale, but I'm not okay. Send help. What do I do?
On the video, her wardrobe door could be seen opening and closing several times on its own. The movements weren't subtle either. It looked deliberate, as if someone or something was trying to get attention. Ashley rushed upstairs, heart pounding, and immediately checked inside the wardrobe. Nothing was there. No animal, no person, nothing that could have caused it. The fact that it all happened in broad daylight only made it scarier for her, and ever since, she's been second-guessing whether she should even stay alone in that house anymore. A man was walking the halls of a hospital late at night, already uneasy because of its reputation for being haunted. The building was almost silent except for his own footsteps, the kind of silence that makes every creak feel louder than it should. He filmed as he explored, narrating quietly and evidently feeling a sense of inner fear.
No mames, güey, necesito que alguien venga, güey. Se escuchan cosas, güey, y... No mames, se escucha la puta regadera, güey, del puto baño, güey. No mames. Necesito que alguien venga, güey, me estoy cagando de miedo, güey, al chile, güey. Oigan, güey. No mames, güey, no prende la puta luz, güey. No mames, Cuchi, güey. ¡No seas ojete, güey! ¡No mames! ¡No mames, güey! ¡Hay alguien, güey! ¡A la verga! ¡No mames! ¡Su puta madre, güey! ¡No mames! ¡No mames! ¡No mames, güey!
As he stepped into one of the bathrooms, the sound of running water echoed from the showers, even though nobody else was supposed to be there. He started calling out to see if anyone was inside, but instead of an answer, he caught something chilling, half of a ghostly face peeking around the corner of the tiled wall. To this day, he swears it was no trick of the light, but something far darker residing in that hospital. Adi had been dealing with constant knocking around his house for weeks, the kind of sounds that keep you awake at night and make you second-guess every little creak. On this particular night, he finally decided to get up and see what was going on. The video starts as he leaves his bedroom, following the loud banging that echoed through the hallway. He quickly identified the source, the bathroom door, where something was slamming against it. Gathering his nerves, he opened it, but the room was completely empty. He flicked on the lights to be sure, and found nothing out of place. Just as he began to calm down, another sound echoed from the kitchen, which was a heavy thud, like something falling. Rushing over, he discovered an object lying on the floor that hadn't been there seconds before. Breathing hard, he filmed the aftermath, clearly shaken, and later admitted he wasn't sure how much longer he could stay in the house. The following night, Eddie decided to leave a camera running while he tried to sleep, hoping to finally get proof of what was happening. At roughly 2 a.m., the knocking started again, echoing through the hallway in the same relentless rhythm as before. This time, though, the camera also picked up the sound of a cat meowing from nearby. The strange part was that the cat never came into view, even though the sound grew louder as if it was pacing near the bathroom door. The knocking continued in bursts, shaking the silence of the house while the camera rolled, capturing every sound. When Eddie reviewed the footage the next morning, he admitted that the combination of the meows and the knocks felt deeply unsettling, almost like the noises were feeding off each other. It left him thinking about things for sure. Eddie, determined to get more solid evidence, decided to set up a camera downstairs the following morning before heading off to work. He left the TV on quietly in the background, thinking the noise might draw out whatever was causing all the disturbances. Hours later, when he returned and checked the footage, what he saw was enough to send chills down his spine. In the middle of the day, with nobody home, a dark shadow shot across the living room, darting from one side of the frame to the other so quickly it was almost a blur. Moments later, the rug tucked behind the couch was pulled down, flattening itself on the seat, with no explanation. The camera then caught a cupboard door swinging open and closed by itself, followed by the clatter of something falling from the kitchen counter just out of frame. Watching it all back, Eddie admitted this was some of the clearest and most terrifying footage he had ever captured. The fact that it all happened while he wasn't even there made it feel like whatever was haunting the house was growing bolder. He later said he wasn't sure if he wanted to keep setting up cameras, because the more he recorded, the worse it seemed to get. The following CCTV footage from inside a busy playhouse seemed ordinary at first, with children laughing and enjoying their time. But then one boy let out a loud scream, his face full of panic, before bolting across to the other side of the playhouse as if he'd seen something none of the others did. A staff member rushed over to check on him, clearly concerned, and entered the small room the boy had fled from.
What happened? Were you in there? Were you in there? No. Who knocked this over? Who knocked this over? Maybe it was just air. Yeah, what was it done? Well, I could have
Just moments later, one of the toy houses in that very room began to tilt over on its own, slowly leaning before crashing down without anyone touching it. The sound startled the kids, sending a wave of upset cries through the playhouse. Watching the clip back, many were disturbed not only by the movement of the toy house, but by the timing. Whatever force was there had chosen to act right in front of children. People online called it an evil presence, saying any spirit willing to scare kids so openly had darker intentions than most. The video quickly spread as viewers argued whether this was a genuine haunting or something staged. But for those who saw the fear on the children's faces, it was hard to dismiss as anything other than real. The staff member who had rushed into the room that day later decided to record a vlog explaining what had really happened. She described the incident in detail, saying that after the toy house fell, she found out what the actual answer was, and it definitely chilled her.
I wanted to quickly show you exactly what it was that was scaring the little kid that my mom was watching. So pretty much, so firstly we have the house, and obviously you guys saw that it fell, but the other thing I wanted to point out was that it's pretty hefty, so it really doesn't make any sense that it would just fall on its own like that. So that's just something I wanted to point out. And this is the room. The crazy thing about this is that there was like markings at the top of the entranceway of like the doorway, and I guess in the video you can see hands gripping onto the doorway. I don't really know what to make of that. I thought at first that it was like bugs or something like that, but it looked almost like two hands like gripping on the top, like leading into this room, just like. But the main thing, and the reason that the little boy was screaming, is actually in here. We have this covered up for a reason. Apparently, the little boy told my mom that he saw a face in these mirrors. We already found someone who's going to take it off our hands and pick it up off Facebook Marketplace, but we have been keeping this room off limits.
It was a set of mirrors that had once been set up for the kids to play with. The boy insisted that while looking into them, he saw strange faces staring back, faces that weren't his, or any of the other children's. According to him, they were twisted, distorted, and watching him until he couldn't take it anymore, which is why he ran screaming. The woman explained that after hearing this, she and the other staff wasted no time covering the mirrors and eventually selling them off, hoping to remove whatever had caused the disturbance. She admitted she'd never seen anything like it before, and that the whole team agreed the boy's reaction had been far too real to be dismissed. The clip added another layer to the story, leaving many to wonder if the mirrors had somehow been tied to the evil presence that showed itself that day. An Asian ghost hunter who goes by The Dark is known for being paid to investigate haunted locations, often venturing into places most wouldn't dare to enter. On one of his recent investigations, he explored a large abandoned facility, carrying only a flashlight and his camera. The atmosphere was already unsettling, with every step echoing in the empty halls, but then something happened that stopped him in his tracks.
حطوا سماعة يا جماعة. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. أعوذ بكلمات الله التامات من شر ما خلق. لا إله إلا الله. لا إله إلا الله. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. أعوذ بكلمات.
Out of nowhere, a sheet lying on the floor suddenly flew upward into the air, as if lifted by unseen hands. The movement was sharp and unnatural, with no sign of wind or explanation for how it happened. He spun around quickly, and in that same moment loud banging noises echoed from deeper inside the building, making the situation even more unnerving. The clip ends with him frozen, torn between going to investigate and retreating, but one thing was certain: the flying sheet was far beyond anything natural. A local resident had reached out to Camilla, asking her to record a cleansing of what she referred to as the Death Room, a space with a dark history they wanted documented for a private Facebook group. Camilla agreed to film, thinking it would just be a simple ritual and nothing more.
Heavenly Father, I ask for your divine presence to fill this space. May your light shine brightly through every room, cleansing this home of any negativity, fear, or unrest. Let peace dwell in every corner, and love be the foundation of every wall. Bless this home with your protection, surrounding it with your angels, and shielding it from harm and evil. May every door be a passage to your grace, and every window open to your blessings. In Jesus' name.
The footage shows the woman standing just outside the room in front of the doorway, reading a plea for God to cleanse and protect the space. Her voice is steady, echoing softly off the walls, while Camilla keeps the camera focused on her. Halfway through the prayer, the jewelry hanging from the woman's wrist suddenly shifts and swings on its own, the small, dangly piece moving as if something invisible had brushed against it. The woman doesn't break her chant, but Camilla is shocked at what she's capturing. She's since said this is the clip she shows anyone who doubts her, insisting nothing about that moment was staged. The next video shows Camilla alone, sitting in a room that we cannot identify, explaining the story behind the now infamous death room.
A lot of you guys have seen that video, so I just want to explain it. Basically, one of the patients here asked me to record a video of her while she was anointing her room to post on her Facebook group page. This like Catholic group page or whatever. And while she was praying, the rosary little gets yanked out of her hand. That's not even the weirdest thing that's happened there. Mind you, we all call this death room because anytime a patient goes in there, they pass away or they get sent to the hospital after they come in healthy. I can't, due to the confidentiality of the families and our respect for everybody in the patients, I'm literally not allowed to say that much. But the craziest thing that happened, and my coworker literally got a video of it. We had this therapy dog come in and it's playing with our patients, and then it literally runs away and it goes to the door of this death room, right? The death room, and it starts whimpering. This is a therapy dog, like.
You like the sucker? You ready to go take a shower? Yeah, here. It's not worth it? Where's your other sucker? You only have one? He said, yeah.
Really?
She begins by saying that the room got its grim nickname for a reason. Every patient who was ever placed in it eventually passed away, no matter their condition going in. Camilla's tone is serious, her voice trembling slightly, as she talks about how the room has been avoided ever since. She goes on to share something even stranger, a story about the therapy dog that regularly visits the facility. According to her, the dog once left its group session on its own and walked straight to the door of the death room, where it began to whimper uncontrollably. To back it up, Camilla includes footage showing exactly that, the dog standing outside the door, crying and refusing to move closer. She explains that nobody could calm it down for several minutes, and from that day forward, it never approached that part of the hallway again. CCTV footage from the corner of the hallway outside the so-called death room would only deepen the mystery. The unsettling clip shows the corridor completely empty, save for the green flash of the call light above the door. Take a look at what happens next.
Why is it beeping? I don't know, no one's in there. It's crazy. Get the light, get the light. Is that your chicken? Yes. Did you just get that on camera? No. Stop. No, I'm not playing with you anymore. I don't like this. No, I don't like this. I don't like this. I don't like this. This is insane right now. Right there.
Okay, you're gonna stop this right now.
After a few seconds, the light begins to flicker on and off in short, sharp bursts, as though being triggered by something unseen. Then, without warning, the door to the room slowly swings shut by itself, the sound echoing faintly through the hall. Moments later, a few nurses are drawn by the noise and go to investigate. One of them, clearly unnerved, calls out for whoever or whatever might be there to stop. They check the room thoroughly, opening the door and stepping inside, but it's completely empty. Nothing and no one to explain what had just been caught. To this day, the death room remains one of the facility's most unsettling mysteries, one even the staff refuse to discuss in detail. CCTV footage from a quiet kitchen captured something that left viewers unsettled. In the dim glow of a nightlight, a strange, fast-moving shadow sweeps across the back of the room, its shape unclear but unmistakably humanoid in motion. Both the household cat and dog can be seen reacting at the same time, their heads snapping in unison to follow the invisible movement. The cat perches its head up while the dog stiffens, staring at the same spot where the shadow had passed, as though something was still there. This all unfolded at 12:45 in the morning, a time when the house should have been completely still. The pet's synchronized reactions only add to the footage's creepiness, giving it a sense of authenticity that's hard to dismiss. When the homeowner reviewed the video the next day, they admitted it gave them chills seeing their animals watch something that, on camera, looked like pure darkness gliding across the kitchen. They're thinking of selling the house. On September the 18th of 2006, a group of urban explorers decided to experiment inside a notorious abandoned house in Toronto. One of them, acting as the camera woman, documented the entire thing.
So we are September 18th, 2006. We are officially 18 days behind schedule. These guys have been working for 6 months and I have no idea what they've been doing. Our renovation is not gone to any schedule. I mean, they're still drywall these guys haven't hung. I don't know what the hell they've been doing. The hardwood floor is not even touched. We have no electrical. I mean, it's just a wire with a bulb. It's not gonna do me any good. The carpet up the stairs has just been ruined. There's even more damage, like now things are peeling off the walls. Everything up here, I mean, it's just disgusting. I don't know what the hell's going on. Look at, there's holes in the walls up here. It's just, oh Jesus!
As she steps through the front door, her voice trembles slightly as she describes the interior. The place is filthy and falling apart, littered with old belongings and cracked walls. Slowly, she climbs the creaking staircase to the upper floor, pointing out holes in the walls and floors that make the place even more dangerous using her night vision camera. But just as she's narrating the damage, a loud bang echoes from down the hall. Spinning the camera toward the sound, she captures a faint human-like figure at the end of the corridor, turning sharply as if to hide behind a corner. Her breathing becomes panicked as she realizes she isn't alone. Without hesitation, she bolts down the stairs and out of the house, the footage shaking wildly as she runs for her life. Hugh and her friends made it out that day, so the only question is, will they be returning? Fuego had been documenting strange occurrences in his home for weeks, hoping to finally catch something on camera that explained the unease he felt every night. In this clip, he stands outside his youngest child's bedroom, his phone trembling in his hand as several loud bangs echo from behind the door. The only downside is that his youngest child passed away, but he kept the room in her memory.
¿Se escucha el ruido? Acá está la habitación de mi hija. Hey. Uy, se siente re fría esta habitación. ¿Qué carajo? El ruido viene de acá adentro, me parece. Concha de tu madre, la concha de tu madre. Otra vez, ¿ves? Ruido acá adentro. ¿Qué onda?
Steeling himself, he pushes it open and steps inside, immediately struck by the sound of slow, uneven breathing coming from somewhere in the room. The door behind him slams shut off camera, making him jolt and spin around in panic. Suddenly, a little girl's laugh cuts through the silence, high-pitched and chilling, followed by the clattering of something moving behind the wardrobe door. Without warning, a toy basketball rolls across the floor. Before he can react, the wardrobe itself begins to shake violently. Summoning his nerve, Fuego swings the door open to reveal a small plastic bear toy sitting inside, its speaker crackling to life as it plays distorted music. The girl-like noises intensify, becoming more agitated, echoing from all around him rather than one spot. Overwhelmed, Fuego turns and sprints from the room, the camera not capturing this and cutting after one motion. He is considering leaving the house, but doesn't want to tarnish his last memory of his daughter. A man had set up his phone in a music room. He's long believed to be haunted, speaking directly to his audience about its strange history without going into detail about the incidents themselves. His tone is calm at first, explaining that he's there alone to document what might happen when nobody else is around.
Hola, una. Estoy acá en mi estudio. Ay, la puta madre. Otra vez vuelvo a sentir ruido. La verdad que... La concha de la lora. La puta madre. Ay, la puta clu...
As he talks, one of the guitars mounted on the wall gives a slight, almost imperceptible sway behind him, but he's too focused on speaking to notice. Moments later, a sudden thud echoes across the room as something falls from a desk next to a keyboard, hitting the floor hard enough to startle him mid-sentence. He whips his head toward the sound, clearly unnerved now, scanning the room for any explanation but finding nothing. His composure breaks, and he quickly backs away from the desk before turning and bolting from the room. He is still struggling on what to do next, but who knows if he will see this video. Just in case he does, feel free to comment some advice for him. Crisela Luna, a paranormal investigator known for exploring some of Mexico's most infamous haunted sites, had previously terrified viewers with her visit to the abandoned Hotel Posada del Sol. Now, she's back at the exact same location, continuing her exploration into the unknown. This time, the video begins with her walking toward a rusted old tractor, surrounded by overgrown brush, the atmosphere quiet but tense.
Ay, Dios. Ay, ay, ay. Creo que fue ese pajarito lo que generó el ruido, como que salió de aquí. Ahí está inquieto porque llegamos. Pues al parecer está todo muy tranquilo. Desde que llegamos no hemos recibido una sola manifestación. ¡Ay! ¿Qué pasó? ¡Ay! ¿Qué pasó? No se vio nada en la cámara. ¿Tú viste algo, Melissa? No. Está revoloteando aquí este pajarito. Parece que se siente mal. Pero esto me asustó. ¿Qué será? Ay, ¿qué será? Aquí está. Eso es lo que nos está asustando. Está inquieto porque estamos aquí. ¡Ay! 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 ¿Qué tronó? ¿Qué tronó? ¿Qué tronó? ¿Qué tronó? ¡Ay, no! ¿Qué es? ¿Qué está pasando? Está aquí bastante oscuro. No sabemos qué está pasando. Hay plasmaciones en las paredes. Si pueden ver. Vean. Ustedes mismos quiero que detecten las plasmaciones de los rostros que hay. De rostros diabólicos incluso. Aquí parece que no hay una sola energía. Parece que hay más entidades y no solo la de esta señora.
She suddenly freezes as a strange noise echoes from behind her, prompting her to spin the camera around in every direction. But there's nothing there. Determined, she keeps moving, her flashlight cutting through the darkness, when another bizarre sound, closer this time, makes her stop again. She lets out a quick scream, but keeps recording, spotting a bird resting unnaturally still nearby. As she films it closely, another sound erupts in the distance, sharp and loud, like a gunshot tearing through the silence. Crizelle gasps, and the camera shakes, cutting just as she turns toward the noise. The video ends there, leaving her audience desperate to know what she discovered next. Subscribe to my channel, as her story will continue in future videos. Can you spot what happens in this clip? A duo made up of a man and a woman decided to explore a haunted farmhouse that locals had long whispered about. They weren't casual thrill seekers either, because they came fully prepared with equipment, determined to capture anything unusual that might happen. The video caption explained that this was actually their return trip to the location, this time with a brand new camera they had just picked up. They admitted they hadn't even worked out all the settings yet, but promised their viewers that future uploads would include extremely clear footage and even night vision. As they started to set up for the night in front of the camera, something truly unsettling happened. For just a split second, a shadow figure appeared in the window directly behind them, before vanishing without a trace. It was so fast that many viewers missed it on the first watch, but when slowed down, the shape of a figure becomes clear. The fact that the pair had no idea what was happening behind them only added to the unease. With the promise of even clearer footage in their next investigations, this was only the beginning of what could be a chilling series. Megan was finally enjoying a quiet night to herself, house-sitting and catching up on a movie she had been meaning to watch for ages. She settled in with the TV, the lights low, and everything felt normal at first. Out of nowhere, a chilling voice broke through the speakers, saying, "Any way I can make you more comfortable?" Megan froze instantly, because not only was that voice not part of the opening scene, but when she restarted the movie, the line was completely gone. She checked, rewound, and even tried again, but the words were nowhere to be found. The incident shook her badly. What disturbed her the most wasn't just hearing the voice, but realizing it had come through so clearly, as if someone was right there in the room with her. She admitted afterward that she thought maybe it was a glitch at first, but the more she replayed the scene and compared it, the more impossible that explanation became. With no logical answer, Megan was left uneasy in a house that wasn't even her own, constantly glancing over her shoulder for the rest of the night. She later said she cut the movie short and kept every light on until morning, too unsettled to close her eyes. Even days later, she couldn't shake the feeling that the voice wasn't part of the film at all, but something else was trying to reach her. The Circus Siblings family on TikTok had been telling their followers for weeks that their home was haunted, but naturally, plenty of people demanded proof. So one evening, they decided to record a video to put all doubts to rest.
Joe, try it. See,
I will open that door.
Stop it, Bailey.
That doesn't work. It just does it when it does it. So it's not me.
What? Try it again.
It's not me.
Open the door.
Shut the door. Shut the door.
Open the door.
Oh, it's a ghost.
What?
Yeah, see, it's not me. It doesn't do it when I do it.
Open the door. Let's see. Oh, open that door.
Tristan, are you really not fucking around?
Oh my god, it opened again. That wasn't
Holy
me.
shit.
I freaking want to hold the door closed. I hold the door open.
You can hear it click and everything. It's shut.
Why is it not open?
That's just a ghost.
Before anything started, the father made a point of jumping, slamming doors, and making big movements around the room to prove that what was about to happen wasn't caused by him. Once everyone settled down, the room grew quiet. Then one of the children, with a mix of bravery and curiosity, asked out loud for the ghost to open the door. For a few seconds, nothing happened, but suddenly the door creaked open just a crack on its own. Many viewers commented that this was the first clip that truly convinced them something strange was going on inside the Circus Siblings' home. It left their audience eager to see what they would capture next. For those of you that don't believe it, the family had more proof ready. This time, the Circus Siblings showed footage from a second camera they had set up inside the room. The angle captured the door from the other side perfectly. Then, just like before, the door slowly creaked open on its own. There was no one pushing, pulling, or even close enough to touch it. The family pointed out that setting up a second camera was the only way to silence the doubters, and sure enough, it made the whole situation even creepier. With two different perspectives showing the same unexplained movement, many viewers agreed there was no way this could be faked so easily. The Circus Siblings had managed to capture something genuinely eerie, and it raised even more questions about what was really haunting their home. Luan was lying in bed late at night, recording casually after days of feeling like something wasn't right in his room. He wanted to prove to himself that it was just his imagination, but instead, he caught something terrifying.
Ese ruido es del techo. No sé qué esté pasando, pero sí me siento nervioso. Vamos a ver. No inventes. Se abrió la puerta. Se abrió la puerta como la última vez. Déjenme calmo, déjenme calmo, déjenme calmo. Déjenme calmo. No hay nada, no hay nada, no hay nada, no hay nada. Se abrió la de abajo, se se abrió la abajo. Vamos a ver, vamos a ver. Uy, otra vez. Es en esta zona. Yo no sé qué está pasando. Uy, los perros. Uy. Uy, los perros.
At first, the cupboard door creaked open by itself, which was enough to make him sit up. Seconds later, another door, this time another cupboard from the very same unit, suddenly opened itself without any human interaction and no visible force. Confused and visibly shaken, Lewin leaned forward to look around the room. That's when the most chilling part happened. The camera briefly captured an uncanny face flashing into frame for less than a second before vanishing. The clip was short, but extremely disturbing, leaving viewers replaying it over and over to confirm what they saw. Many agreed it was one of the scariest captures they'd come across, and Lewin himself admitted he had no explanation for what appeared in his room that night. A ghost hunter was exploring an old church late at night, armed only with his camera and a flashlight. The air inside was heavy, and the building was mostly dark with a small window radiating cool lighting. The atmosphere felt like something spooky was just around the corner. As he walked around the church bells suddenly began to ring, echoing through the empty halls. The sound alone was enough to raise the hair on his neck, but then something far worse happened. Around one of the stone corners, a face could be seen peeking out at him, watching silently. Summoning his courage, the ghost hunter moved quickly toward the corner, determined to confront whatever was there. But just as he reached it, the face slipped out of sight, and behind the pillar was nothing but darkness. With no explanation for what he had just witnessed, he was left shaken, convinced he had just come face to face with a ghost outside of the church. MC Devil 666 on TikTok had been warning his followers that a welly shelf in his home was haunted. According to him, the boots had been falling from it time and time again, but always when the camera wasn't rolling. When he told his wife about it, she laughed it off and teased him for being paranoid. Determined to prove himself right, he set up his phone and started recording, openly calling out to the ghost and asking it to push one of the wellies down.
No, hijo de su puta madre.
Sure enough, one of the boots suddenly tipped and fell from the shelf with nobody near it. Shocked but satisfied, he took the footage straight to his wife to prove he hadn't been imagining things. Instead of laughing this time, she went quiet, replaying the moment again and again before walking away unsettled. for MC Devil 666. This was all the proof he needed, but he admitted later that the incident put a serious strain on their relationship. He said he couldn't live with someone who dismissed what was happening in front of their eyes, so he decided to leave her behind. The welly shelf had done more than just confirm a haunting, it had ended his marriage. Lynn worked as an assistant teacher at a small school in Asia, where most days passed by quietly with lessons, laughter, and the usual chatter of children. One afternoon, she was sitting outside with some of the kids, enjoying the calm atmosphere, when something strange caught their attention.
Pamisa sa kalag ni Monsilo ang nagpamisa roasting kumahan. Pamisa sa kalag ni Monsilo Eustachio Segundina Rafaela Serapia Vicente Juana Tomas Patricia Yopanis Nicolas ang nagpamisa Max.
One of the students pointed toward the distance, so Lynn lifted her phone and zoomed in to see what it was. To her shock, the camera revealed a pale face staring back. It was clearly not human, as the features resembled that of a female ghost. Unnerving and unnatural in every way. Not wanting to frighten the children, Lynn kept calm, said nothing, and guided their attention elsewhere. Later, though, she shared the footage on social media, where it quickly spread. People online debated what she had captured, but what's most surprising is that after this single chilling moment, nothing unusual ever happened at that school again. It was as if the ghost had made one brief appearance and then vanished, never to return. C's Crazy Crossroads, the ghost hunter with more than 50,000 subscribers, returned in another terrifying compilation from the same haunted property. He reintroduced the setting for new viewers, explaining that this was the infamous contractor's haunted house, a place he had already experienced some strange things in. This time, the activity was even harder to ignore.
I love it. After it's all said and done, I'm very happy when stuff happens, but in the moment, it's not fun. Oh, that son of a, that was me. All right, I don't know if you guys heard that. It was a huge, it sounded like a door shaking or something. As I was talking and man, what is going on in here? What happened in this house? Maybe it's just the people that have passed on here don't want anybody coming in their house because it's been sitting for so long. Maybe they're still here. Listen, listen. It's right here. It's right here.
While filming, he suddenly heard loud knocking, followed by an unsettling series of shaking sounds from somewhere nearby. He ran straight toward the noise with his camera rolling, determined to catch the source, but when he got there, the rooms were completely empty. Just as he was about to settle down, another sound cut through the silence. The knocks returned, this time coming from above his head, as if something was moving around in the attic. With nobody else in the house and no explanation for what he was hearing, the tension was overwhelming. Fans of C's Crazy Crossroads agreed that this was one of his clearest captures yet, and many believe the haunted house is only beginning to reveal its secrets. Ever since he was young, Marcus had been fascinated with the underground. He loved the stillness, the echoes, and the sense of mystery that came with exploring places most people would never see. Over the years, he had taken up caving as a hobby, often bringing his loyal dog along for company. On this particular day, he decided to explore a cave system he hadn't visited before, curious to see what secrets it might hold. With only his headlamp and his dog's eager excitement to guide the way, they venture deep inside.
Out. Come here. Come on. Come on. Go. Misty. What do you think about this, Misty? Keep looking. Stay behind me. What the fuck is that? Oh shit. Go. Come on, Misty. Come on, Misty.
The footage shows them carefully making their way through narrow passages until they eventually reach a dead end, where dozens of bats hang above, prompting Marcus to turn around. After walking back for only a short time, the beam of his light catches something ahead, a tall, human-like figure standing in the darkness. It was far too unnatural in movement and presence to be anything ordinary. Without a second thought, Marcus grabs his dog and bolts for the exit, the sound of his hurried footsteps echoing through the cave as they escape into daylight. Even now, he says he can't explain what he saw, and maybe he doesn't want to. Dre and his friend had been hanging out one evening when a series of strange noises started coming from the attic. At first, they brushed it off, thinking it might just be the wind or an old house creaking, but the sounds kept happening, louder each time. After a bit of debating, they decided to check it out for themselves. Climbing up into the dim attic, they were hit with an instant feeling of unease, like they were being watched. The air felt heavier, and both of them agreed it didn't feel right.
Alright, remember, I gotta turn this thing on here. Recorder's on.
Alright, we got the cripple.
Yeah, I'm the cripple. I'm the EVP director.
The EVP specialist. And, let's see if I can do this. Got myself, Dre. And we're up here because we heard some noises earlier. And we're trying to figure out if we can catch a little bit more. Or try to piss this thing off enough to let us know that it's here.
I heard you up here last night. Make a noise. I kept on hearing stuff in the back of the attic on the back there on the right, like it was something hiding back there. I got it on the recorder, like all these little bangs and scratching noises. And just for the record, there's no wildlife up here. What's your name? Stop hiding and show yourself.
Give us a sign. What the hell was that?
Did you see something?
We just got something on video.
What was it?
Oh my gosh, what was that? Hang on, we gotta stop this.
What did it look like?
In the footage, the camera pans across the far end of the attic, just in time to catch a sudden movement in the shadows. Nobody else was in the house, and no one could have been hiding there without them seeing. The encounter left them certain they had just come face to face with a ghost. Mykolenko is one of those rare ghost hunters whose reputation speaks for itself. Known for his sharp instincts, unshakable composure, and years of experience investigating some of the most infamous haunted locations, he's built a name for himself as the guy who gets results. Clients trust him because he doesn't just chase shadows, he documents them with undeniable clarity. So when he was offered $500 to prove a paranormal presence in a suburban home that had been giving its owners sleepless nights, he didn't hesitate. In the footage, Mykolenko is standing well across the room, far from the old wooden cabinet in question. Without warning, the cabinet begins to shake violently, sending several objects crashing to the floor. The angle is perfect, clear, steady, and without any sign of wires or tampering. The homeowners were convinced on the spot, and true to his word, Mykolenko delivered the proof and walked away with the full $500 in hand. If you want more investigations like this, make sure to subscribe. Mykolenko will be appearing in future videos, and you don't want to miss what he uncovers next. A man was relaxing in his bedroom late at night when a sudden aggressive rattling of a nearby door jolted him upright. At first, he thought it might be the wind, or maybe someone else in the house, but the sound was too intense and frantic to be either. Grabbing his camera, he stepped cautiously out of bed, his breathing already quickening as he edged closer to the source. The footage shows him standing right next to the door as the handle shakes violently on its own. Without warning, the door swings open and then closes again, all while the handle continues to tremble as if being gripped by invisible hands. His loud, panicked breathing fills the audio, making the moment even more unsettling. After the incident, he admitted he didn't sleep for the rest of the night. The next day, he began researching and reaching out to local paranormal hunters, determined to bring in someone experienced who could explain or confront whatever was in his home. Valentina was at the hospital late one evening, sitting in the hallway while her father was being treated. She had no idea that at this exact point in time, her father had already passed away. She was scrolling through her phone, trying to distract herself from the stress, when something caught her attention out of the corner of her eye.
No. Ay, no puede ser, mira. No, mira. Es una fantasma acá, loco. No te puedo creer, la puta madre. Ay, no, lo que le parió. No.
The wheelchair her father regularly used began to roll forward completely on its own, moving smoothly across the corridor without anyone near it. Valentina froze, her fear mixing with confusion as she stared at the empty seat. Later, a nurse informed her that her father's heart had stopped just 2 minutes before the wheelchair had moved. The timing left her shaken, wondering if this was her father's way of saying goodbye. Marcos had just returned home from a long shift at work and was winding down for the night, watching TV in her room. It was quiet, the kind of stillness that usually meant nothing out of the ordinary would happen. But then she heard it, a distinct thud from just outside her bedroom door, like something heavy had fallen. At first, she thought she imagined it, but the sound was too real to ignore. Curious and a little uneasy, she grabbed her phone and started recording before going to check.
Dios.
She slowly opened her bedroom door and immediately spotted an object lying on the floor in the hallway, something that definitely hadn't been there before. As she processed what she was seeing, a chair further down the hall suddenly slid across the floor directly toward her, stopping just a few feet away. Marcos backed up quickly, her breathing picking up as fear set in. Later, she admitted she didn't sleep in her room that night, and was now considering having a paranormal investigator come to see what she might be dealing with. Fabian was sitting in his room watching TV when he heard the familiar sound of his dad's car pulling into the driveway. He quickly turned his head toward the window, trying to catch a glimpse of him arriving. While Fabian's attention was fixed outside, the doll on his bed shifted suddenly, moving in a way that was far from natural. Fabian had no idea. He only turned back a moment later and hurried out of the room to greet his dad. Later, his mum reviewed the security footage from his room and was left stunned by what she saw. The doll had been perfectly still before, and there was no one near it when it moved. The unsettling discovery has her seriously considering moving out before whatever caused it decides to do more.